That is the most insane thing I've ever heard. There's no way Mobius would condescend to step inside you. Besides, there's no way such a thing could be accomplished. It's impossible.
Ó, biztos vagy abban?
You speak the truth, and the decibel variation in your voice, it is Mobius. How dare you breach the think tank? And what do you want here? That's no deal at all. There's a whole world beyond the crater, filled with ideas and possibilities. We could have escaped, seen it all for ourselves, tested it, prodded at it, made it squirm. Partner with you, my foe, my rival, my foremost critic? I have a strange sensation that I would like that. How odd. Very well, partner. The think tank is at your service as long as you do not destroy us.
Király. Na, leave the think tank. Összejön először is. Felmennék és az agyamat visszaraknám a kibaszott fejemben.
As it had been in the years before the Great War, Big Mountain, the Big Empty, became home to one of the brightest minds of the 23rd century. The courier watched over the Big Empty for years to come, caring for it and keeping its discoveries safe until they were needed to help others. Which had always been Big Mountain's purpose. Past the laboratories and science, it had always been intended as a place to build the future of all mankind.
The Sync Central Intelligence Unit was impressed by the amount of exploration the courier had undertaken. Facilities believed lost, destroyed, or ones that had simply gotten up and walked to new locations had been rediscovered by its intrepid new master. Internally, the artificial personality debated as to whether it preferred the old management to the new, and concluded that the courier's thorough approach to research and investigation was admirable and worthy of its respect.
Dr. Mobius continued his research undisturbed in the Forbidden Zone. As much as he had attempted to create better scorpions, he tried the same with humanity, with considerably less success. These failures didn't bother him overmuch. Once the rush of mentats wore off, he forgot he had failed in any event. After all, the bright young mind who had come to visit him in the Forbidden Zone had already exceeded his expectations.
The Sync atop the dome bustled with the voices of a small town, constantly chirping, arguing, and snarling at each other. Still, this all happened productively in the interests of its new owner. The Sync Central Intelligence Unit discovered, despite its inversion code, it was comforted by the sense of community the other personalities gave it.
The Biological Research Station, obsessed with seeding everything in sight, requested a transfer to the X-22 Botanical Garden, so that it might, in its own words, sensually fertilize the garden's smooth contours. The garden sent back a polite refusal, saying it had prior commitments with a vault it had helped infect before the war.
The book chute continued to devour all seditious materials until it nearly choked on a paperclip. It adamantly maintained it was a Chinese paperclip, and the whole thing had been an elaborately orchestrated assassination attempt. Whatever the reason, it slowed down for a while, carefully appraising each document and clipboard that came to it.
The light switches continued to bicker and flicker.
This persisted until the day someone dropped a flashlight in the sink, and the two of them united in their hatred of the showboat. One of them eventually transferred to the Lightwave Dynamics plant, and began a long, unrequited affair with one of the holograms.
The thing continued to ruthlessly scrub any particulate matter that came near it. Eventually, it gained access to the magnetohydraulics plant and nearly flooded all the Big Empty in an attempt to scrub the crater clean. Once it learned of the innovative toxins plant, however, it gained new purpose. It sought to develop antitoxins to flush into its drains and counteract the poisons bleeding into the soil.
The toaster continued its psychotic spree, reducing all appliances in range to scrap electronics and spare parts. After one of its more psychotic episodes, however, the other Sync personalities decided enough was enough and dumped the toaster in a bathtub. Sparking and hissing, the toaster swore its enemies would rue the day when they had bread and no way to toast it.
Muggy did his best to collect coffee cups, although in his quest, he accidentally trapped himself in Higgs Village. It might have been the end for poor Muggy. Except, he found it peaceful there, tidying up the kitchens of the think tank professors back when they had been flesh and bone. Well, except for Dr. O, who was an asshole for having created Muggy in the first place. Muggy left O's house deliberately dirty, punishing the dishes and cups that lived there in blind revenge for serving Dr. O.
Blind-eyed old Jefferson eventually discovered a new sound. Silence. It only made him more filled with the blues than before. It was rumored by the other personalities that he had a brief fling with the light switches. Although he forgot their names much too often and was soon left in the dark as punishment.
Autodoc, always gentle and methodical, kept sewing up the courier in all the right places when the skin split open from repeated wear and tear. The Autodoc was just glad to have purpose again. It heard its simpler brothers and sisters who got shipped to the Sierra Madre were bored out of their skulls in that toxic dead city. In time, the Autodoc found a way to deactivate the Y-17 trauma harnesses, releasing the corpses they had held prisoner for almost 200 years.
As the courier ran through the X-8 facility multiple times, the computers analyzed the test subject's movements. Rather than performing a superficial observation, they realized the subject barely knew what communism was, or even what a high school was. This confused them for a time, until the facility finally realized that its research had succeeded. So it let its cyber dogs out into the wastes to help protect small communities from physical aggression rather than communist propaganda.
The infiltration program in X-13 felt spent, having repeatedly upgraded the stealth suit until it could upgrade it no more. It felt warm, fulfilled, and a bit sluggish. It realized not long after, the stealth suit had left it, without so much as a note on the nightstand. So the infiltration program sent out robo-brains into the wastes, looking for its wayward technology. It eventually found Repcon HQ, and set up a new research center, testing and murdering fiends who kept breaking into the facility.
The courier, organs intact, continued onwards, a little less heavy of step, but with all the organs in the right places, as they should be. After all, brains can develop a life of their own when left to their own thoughts, and the courier's brain was more clever than most.
Dr. Klein and the think tank remained alive, unaware of the world outside. They looped through their daily routine, none the wiser about the world beyond, although perhaps wiser was the wrong word. The world outside belonged to the courier, and if anyone would shape it, well, the courier had already called dibs.
There is an expression in the wasteland, old world blues.
It refers to those so obsessed with the past they can't see the present, much less the future.
for what it is.
They stare into the what was, eyes like pilot lights, guttering and spent, as the realities of their world continue on around them.
Science is a long, steady progression into the future. What may seem a sudden event often isn't felt for years, even centuries to come.
In the times following the Second Battle of Hoover Dam, however, Old World blues took on a new meaning.
Where once it was viewed as a form of sadness, nostalgia, it became an expression describing the potential for the future.
It can be easy to see science as evil, technology unchecked as the source of all ills, all misfortunes.
With the courier at the helm, science became a beacon for the future. There was Old World blues, and New World hope. And hope ruled the day at Big Mountain.
We could say more, but the stories in the Big Empty speak for themselves. Now armed with the transportal Ponder, the courier could return to the dome at any time and crack open the secrets of the Big Empty one by one. The sink sat vigilant, waiting for its master to return, shoes covered in Mojave dust. Only one road yet remained, and it was one the courier had to walk alone.
Oké, akkor ez volt a befejezés, de nekünk még dolgunk van ezen a környéken, sajnos, ezt meg el kéne olvasni. Ja, bla bla bla. Yay, mindenki örül nekem. Wow, baby, oké. Autodog.
I trust matters regarding your brain were resolved to your satisfaction.
Ja, viszont még a spine-lesz, meg az ilyen pekek megvannak nekem, szóval adios. És még fejezzük be az itteni questeket gyorsan szerintem. Szóval Field Research, remélhetőleg már nem fog sokáig tartani. Menjünk mondjuk az Y0 Research Center-től. Tényleg nekem, mert ez az Old World Blues, mert sötét van. Pontosabban éjszaka van, inkább mondanám azt. De mi vagy itt? Big Book of Science. Meg egy duffelbag. Észre se vettelek még téged. Te mi a here vagy? Haver. Ezzel lehet visszamenni, a büdös picsában. Ezzel lehet visszamenni a Mojave Wastelandre. De mi még nem akarunk. Ja. De legalább ezzel el tudok menekülni bármilyen harcból, nem igaz? Legalábbis gondolná az ember. All American. Most valamiért ezzel a fegyverrel akarok menni, szóval várjunk egy ilyen 10 órát, ameddig reggel lesz, most éjszaka nem akarok közlekedni ezen a környéken. És gyorsan szedjünk fel minden szart, amit csak tudunk. Upgrade-eket. Na. Akkor menjünk mondjuk, nem is tudom, mondjuk ettől a fura nevű központon. Ha ez egy központ egyáltalán, nem emlékszem már egyáltalán nevére. Ez is a kanyonban van, hát ez kurva jó. Hát mindegy. Ha itt lesznek ellenségek, akkor elbánunk velük így is, úgy is. Szóval remélhetőleg most már nem nagyon fogunk túl sok mindent csinálni itt a Big Mountainnek a kráterében. Mert én nem tagadom, már kezdem unni ezt a helyet. És oda, hogy a francba fogok én feljutni? Ez baj. Akkor lehet, hogy muszáj leszek mondjuk innen menni. Próbálkozom meg azzal. A lényeg az, hogy ne a kanyonnak a belsejében legyünk, hogy nevezhetem ezt egyáltalán kanyonnak. Én nem tudom, viszont megint ott leszünk. Nem, ez most egy... hoppá. Ez most egy jobb pozíció, ahol éppen elhelyezkedünk. Persze azért még lehet, hogy nehézségbe fogunk ütközni. Szent szar! Oké, hirtelen nem láttam ezeket a dolgokat. Ez egy vicces nevű dolog. Mivel kéne ezt elintézni? Antimaterial rifle, rendben, meg is van beszélve. Jó sok élete van, az a baj. De se baj. Critical strike. Ennyit arra a rossz fiúron. Rendben, te vagy a következő. Te csak egy sima spore plant vagy. Te nem vagy olyan vészes. Ez a hely itt meglepett engem. Van itt valami? Hú, még egy ilyen dolog. És itt van valami? Á, magok. Király. Az úgy frankó. Emeltek innen el tudunk jutni a másik mag csomaghoz is. Ó, én buta vagyok. Észrevettem, de még mentem tovább. Inkább nem álltam meg, mert mint ahogy mondtam, én buta vagyok. De itt van a másik mag is. Király. Ellenségek még vannak a közelben? Nem frankó. Vissza kéne menni a szinkbe, de így nem tudok majd elfast travelezni. A francba. Na mindegy, akkor menjünk addig, ameddig nem tudok majd hirtelen fast travelezni, aztán amint tudok, egyből el fogunk, mint ahogy mondtam, fast travelezni. Király. Akkor nyomathatjuk is. Legalább kedves a játék, hogy küldetésbe belerakja ezeket a választható dolgokat, gyűjteni valókat, és nem neked kell megtalálnod vakon. Nem.
You took care of them brains pretty good, baby. Nice.
Tudom, köszi elő.
Ah, yeah, baby. Just slip it in there. All the way down in that dark, moist earth. Launching interface.
Király. Faszom. Jalapeno, meg minden. Frankfurt. Na, még mit kell csinálnom? Quest. Return the samples to the sink. Rendben, ezt akkor kihez kell vinnem? Te itt.
So you beat the big brains at their own game, huh? Guess you'll be putting your walking shoes on again. Hitting that old lonesome road.
Bizonyám, pontosan a Lonesome lesz a következő. Sunday Friday. Na, hey. Király. Csomó dolog, amit már nem tudok használni, de na mindegy. Még valami? Végeztünk is. Itt akkor az Old World Blues-ra még elbúcsúzzak az én kis lámpáimtól.
You outbrained the big brains? That is so hot.
Oh. Cica lámpa. Na, másik?
I understand you're to be congratulated on the recovery of your missing organs. Bravo.
Jóhó. Ennyit rólad?
Certainly.
Na, Toaster, mit mondasz?
With the brains dealt with, soon we can spread our rule across the Mojave. All will eat burned toast in despair.
Ez nagyon-nagyon fenyegetően hangzik.
Yeah.
Like I haven't tried to get along with her.
Te mit mondasz? Veled beszéltem korábban úgyis. Akkor még kik van meg? Magi? Itt van a szívem, és itt van a gerincem. Ebben már nincs nagy. Hát jó van, nekem ezek nem kellnek igazából, szóval ennyit erről a szobáról. Magi? Hol van ez a kis Magi? Csak találkozunk mindjárt. Itt vagy Magi.
Please, please, please tell me you stomped Dr. O's brain into a fine paste. Did he squeal? Did he beg? God, I hope he begged. Who's the flatware bitch now? Oh!
Viszlát, Magi.
Sure. Nobody wants to hang.
Ja, bla bla bla. Még a széfemből kivennék egy-kettő dolgot, amire szükségem lehet. Mondjuk fegyverek, meg ruhák. Bár igazából bármikor visszajöhetek, szóval akár szépen a átcipelhetnek mindent, de egyenlőre csak a fontosabb dolgokat vigyük magunkkal. Amik itt nincsenek. Itt ruhák. Mondjuk te. Ezeket mind magammal viszem, hogyha lehet. Ezeket is. Na, stealth suite MK2. Mistből meg abban meg igazából semmi se kell. Stealth suite-ot azt magammal akarom venni azért. Szóval safe. Most már csak nekem is egy-kettő cuccomat bele kéne pakolni, amiket nem fogok használni. Corrosive glow, ezt még visszarakjuk. Ez se kell igazából. Na, ezeket szépen vissza tudom vinni, szóval Visszautazunk a Mojave-ra, amit egy... mivel is lehet? Big Mountain Transporter, vagy micsoda. Ide bent nem lehet. Ez egy üres történetdoboz, az nekem nem kell. Akkor innen utazok vissza. Franco. Jó, újra a Mojave-n lenni. Még szépen visszautazok szerintem a... hogy is hívják rá? Ide a stripre. Beállok a kaszinó elé és elköszönök tőletek szerintem. Ez nekem egy hosszú nap volt videózás téren. Tényleg nagyon-nagyon sokat vettem fel. De legalább a végére értünk az Old World Bluesnak, ami egy kifejezetten jó DLC, és lehet, hogy az eddigi kedvencem az összes közül. Tartalmas volt, tele jó párbeszéddel, és szerintem a következő epizódban nem itt a Mojave Wastelandben fogok kalandozni, hanem nekiállunk a Lonesome Roadnak, de még nem ígérek semmit ezzel kapcsolatban. Szóval remélem tetszett az Old World Blues végigjátszásom. Nem sokára folytatjuk az egész Fallout New Vegas-nak a végigjátszását, és addig is sziasztok!